This conference will now be recorded.
Test, test. All right, we'll get started here. Good evening, Sun and Lake. Ray Bossert, your general manager here. Appreciate y'all taking time. Tonight is our second event for doing what I call a candidate town hall. Very laid back environment. There's going to be no questions asked by a board or engagement or pre-staged anything. It's basically I have two candidates running for the seat, the open seat for the landowner seat. That's next Friday election. And this is their time to do a quick bio, introduce themselves, and then it's basically open forum. You guys ask questions, we'll pass the mic around, and then they'll give answers, and we'll take it from there. If you start, as we did last week, and I appreciate those who came last week and this week, there's a lot of questions that come up that really are just general Sun and Lake questions. After that event, we captured them in the back. I sent those to my board of supervisors, my current board, and I sent them to both candidates. So we're all on the same page. So if something came up and no one really had an answer, because these aren't elected officials yet, and the board that's sitting in the audience can't speak, and I don't want to speak, we did capture those issues because they were pretty simple questions in some cases, and they're aware of the answers that we are the answers for today. So I'll do the same tonight. We'll capture questions, so you don't need to get bogged down on any questions. We'll capture it, and then after this, my board will get it, as well as the two candidates. Elections continue on, or voting, I should say, continues on through next Tuesday after MLK in the morning. Then we shut down the absentee ballots. And then next Friday here from 9 in the morning to 11 in the morning, change of venue. We're going to do it right back in the little library. So there's a board meeting going on here starting at 9, the regular monthly board meeting with the regular seated 5 board members. From 9 to 11, if you have not voted yet, you can come here, you walk in the board meeting, you walk right into that room there, you can cast your ballot for the last 2 hours. At 11 o'clock, we stop. At 11 o'clock next Friday, we stop. There's folks in there counting. There's an accounting firm that's doing it. They're validating it. And then we move into what we do, the landowner meeting. So the board will leave their seats. The board will become just residents like y'all sitting in the audience. We'll have a landowners meeting, and starting of the landowners meeting, we should pretty quickly get the results of the election. We'll announce that election, the winner, and then we'll begin a very quick process of electing a board president, a board vice president, a board secretary, board treasurer. Once we do that election business, then we go right into the rest of the landowners meeting per our charter. We're supposed to talk about the budget this year, a few topics, and it's really just an open discussion. If needed, we will move back. We'll gavel out of that, move back to a board meeting, and you'll see one new guy on the dais if we need to. But that's totally up to the board. If they can get their work done in 2 hours before the landowners meeting, then we'll gavel out of the landowners and we'll be done for the day. Any questions on the process, on voting? I hope if you voted, it's a pretty seamless process, pretty easy. We knock it out quick. It's an absentee ballot. Do it on site, take it home, come back with it. It's a numbered ballot, so it's pretty simple, and we'll take it from there. All right, I turn it over to our two candidates, and we'll let them do intros.
I'd like to say the Pledge of Allegiance first, if we could, please.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. My apologies.
Pledge allegiance.
Flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Good evening, and thank you to everyone who put this forum together. I know events like this take time, coordination, and a lot of behind-the-scenes work, and I truly appreciate it. And thank you to the residents and landowners of Sun and Lake for being here today. When people take the time to show up, listen, and ask questions, it tells me that they care about their community. And that's exactly what makes Sun and Lake special. My name is Stephen Kramer, and I've lived in Sun and Lake for 3 years with my wife, Cynthia. I enjoy golf, pickleball, and love the area we live in. We have 3 grown-up children, all living their own lives, but they do reach out when they need something. I'm running for the Sun and Lake Board of Supervisors because I care deeply about this community and because I believe the experience I've gained in public service can generally help our district. I work in the municipal government, and on a daily basis, I deal with budgets, infrastructure, planning, stormwater systems, and maintenance operations. Most of the work happens quietly behind the scenes, but it has a very real impact on people's lives. What the experience has taught me is simple. Decisions matter. The choices made at the board level don't just affect the next budget cycle. They affect property values, quality of life, and how well a community functions for many years down the road. I've seen firsthand what happens when good decisions are made early, and I've also seen what happens when they're delayed. I have been involved in situations where a small drainage issue was flagged early on, but maintenance was postponed to save money in the short term. A few years later, that same issue turned into flooding, road damage, and much larger repair bill. Residents were frustrated, costs were higher, and everyone wished the problem had been addressed sooner. That experience really stuck with me, and it shapes how I think about decision-making today. One of the biggest decisions facing Sun and Lake is finding the right balance between maintaining a high quality of life and being responsible with cost. Everyone wants good roads, reliable drainage, well-maintained amenities, and facilities we could be proud of. At the same time, nobody wants wasteful spending, surprise assessments, or decisions that look good today but create problems tomorrow. Striking that balance takes planning, prioritization, and discipline. If elected, there are three main priorities I would focus on. The first is fiscal responsibility. Sun and Lake operates on taxpayer dollars, and I take that responsibility seriously. In my professional role, I've sat through budget meetings where it was easy to say yes to something simply because funding was available. But what I've also learned that just because money is there doesn't mean it should be spent. I believe in asking questions, reviewing the details, and making sure expenses are justified and clearly explained. When people understand where their money is going and why, it builds trust. And trust is critical in local government. The second priority is taking care of what we already have. Roads, drainage systems, facilities, and amenities don't maintain themselves. In my line of work, I've seen communities save significant money by sticking to proactive maintenance schedules instead of waiting for things to fail. I've also seen the opposite, where deferred maintenance led to emergency repairs, higher costs, and unhappy residents. My approach is proactive rather than reactive. I believe it's smarter, cheaper, and less disruptive to plan ahead and maintain existing assets properly. The third priority is communication and accessibility. One of the most common frustrations I hear from residents, whether it's in Sun and Lake or elsewhere, is not necessarily about decisions itself, but about not understanding why it was made. People want to feel informed and included. That means open meetings, clear explanations, and board members who listen. Listening doesn't always mean agreeing, but it does mean valuing public input and taking it seriously before decisions are made. I also want to address something directly and transparently. Because I work for the city of Sebring, and because my wife works for Highlands County, the district manager and attorney suggested that it might be a conflict of interest for me to serve on the board. And I felt it was important to get a formal guidance before running. On January 7th of 2026, the Florida Ethics Commission issued an official opinion confirming that my current role, as well as my wife's role with the county, do not present any ethics violations or conflicts of interest related to this position. This letter has been presented to the district manager and the Board of Supervisors for Sun and Lake, along with the City of Sebring and Highlands County. I also posted it for the public on the Sun and Lake residents Facebook page for clear transparency. I believe in doing things the right way, following the rules and being upfront with residents. That opinion gave me the confidence that I can serve this district ethically, responsibly, and without conflicts of interest. I also believe that having a spouse who works in the county government is a benefit, not a liability. It gives me additional perspective on how county processes work, how intergovernmental coordination happens, and how decisions at one level affect another. It reinforces the importance of ethics, transparency, and staying within the proper boundaries. I understand very closely where these lines are, and I respect them. I also want to be clear and fair in saying that my opponent is qualified and clearly cares about this community. I respect anyone who is willing to step forward and serve. Where I believe I stand apart is in the depth and relevance of my experience. I work every day with public budgets, infrastructure, maintenance, planning, and long-term decision-making. That hands-on experience means I just don't understand these issues in theory. I deal with them in practice. And I understand how today's decision affects communities years down the road. When it comes to specific projects, I don't believe in automatic support or automatic opposition. Every product should be evaluated on its own merits, cost, benefit, timing, and long-term impact. My professional experience, some of the best decisions came from slowing down, asking a few questions, and making sure all the facts are on the table. That's the approach I would bring to this board. I also believe strongly in collaboration. Not everyone on the board will agree all the time, and that's okay. In fact, some of the best outcomes I've seen came from respectful disagreement and healthy discussions. What matters is staying focused on the same goal, what's best for Sun and Lake. I bring a calm, professional approach, and I'm comfortable working through differences to find practical solutions. Public service isn't always easy. People care deeply about their neighborhoods and emotions run high. I've been in meetings where residents were frustrated or upset, and I understand that. My approach in those moments is to stay calm, listen carefully, focused on the facts, and help guide the conversations towards solutions instead of divisions. What I believe sets me apart is my hands-on experience working directly with public budgets and infrastructure. I understand how decisions made in meetings translate in real-world outcomes, how a line item becomes a project, and how a delayed decision can become a costly problem later. I'm not running with a personal agenda, and I'm not running to make headlines. I'm running because I believe in steady leadership, accountability, common sense, and doing the things the right way. I respect the responsibility that comes with serving on this board. I care about the long-term health of Sun and Lake, and I want to help ensure this community continues to be the place people are proud to live now and for years to come. I'd be honored to serve as your supervisor and would sincerely appreciate your support and your vote. Thank you for your time. Thank you for being here, and thank you for caring about Sun and Lake.
Very good. Can you all hear me all right? Okay, thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for coming. I see our board president, Mr. Gilpin, is here, and Dr. McLaughlin is here. I'd like to recognize him as well. They're both on the board. I don't see anybody else here that's on the board, though. No, okay. All right, well, anyways, thank you again. I'm Mark Caramana. I'm running for the landowner board seat. A little bio on me. I'm married to my wife, Barbara. We've been married for 53 plus years. We're both Christians, and we both attend the Avon Park Lakes Baptist Church. They're right around the corner. We moved here from Rochester, New York 9 years ago, and we have been in Sun and Lake for 6 years. That's our residency here. We have 4 adult children and 4 grandchildren. I served in the U.S. Army Finance Corps for 2 years. I earned a college degree in accounting and business administration. And I owned my own construction business for 30 plus years. I also worked as a construction manager for a large commercial general contractor where I built a multi-million-dollar nursing home. I also built a number of senior living homes. And lastly, I built a number of schools working for this general contractor. I retired as a senior estimator from construction 6 years ago. And in 2023, we personally built our own home on Myrtle Beach Drive in Sun and Lakes. That was an endeavor. I'm running for the landowner board seat because I want to help our community. I'd like to be an integral part of the decisions that are made in our community. After my triple bypass surgery, I had some time to reflect on what I wanted to do with my life afterwards, because it's quite a trying experience for sure. All I kept thinking about was to get involved in the community. Now, I've attended a number of board meetings prior to that and after that as well. And all I could think about is, what can I do to help out? The best way I know to be involved in contributing is by contributing my experience as a business owner who has construction experience. I have knowledge, skills, and abilities that will help serve the board. In helping our community, I can be involved with our public safety. I can help keep costs affordable. I will support transparency in the decisions that impact our community. I can also be a part of the construction of the infrastructure that we're about to have. Community has taken on some major construction projects that will need some help on the board that understands the construction process. I believe that we have a great management team that can and will take care of our community. We also need a board that will support our management to make the right decisions that will serve the community. For that, I want to be a part of the board that makes the community decisions for the residents of Sun and Lake. So I appreciate your vote if you'd vote for me. Thank you. Any questions?
If I can get everybody's attention for just a second. My name is Cameron. I'm your Director of IT here at Sun and Lake. So we have people that are watching online and they can't hear unless you speak into the microphone, and we want everybody else to hear you as well. So we're going to have two microphones going back and forth. If you can just give us an indicator that you have a question, we will bring a microphone to you. Just give us a second before you start and just make sure that people online who can't be here are getting to see it. If you could just say your first, your last name, and then ask your question just like you would at a board meeting, okay? Thank you very much. Anybody have any questions when we bring a mic over to you? Tons of questions tonight. All right. All right. Got one right here. Give me just 1 second.
Hi, my name's Rhonda. My question is for Mr. Carmona.
Yes, ma'am.
After reading what you're running for and everything, I would like to ask, since you want to, work with the community
Yes,
and the
ma'am.
residents and, be transparent. If you were on the board, how would you respond to the letter that you signed as a concerned citizen that was sent to the governor? Would you appreciate that, or how would you respond to it? And I had asked several times about the information compiled as to how just a few people could consider themselves representative of 14,000 residents.
Actually, I believe it's 13,000, if I could correct you. This is what I heard in the last board meeting.
1,000, I don't
Okay.
think is going to make a difference.
Okay. As far as my response to that letter, if the governor and the ethics committee had made a decision on it, I'm fine with that decision. I don't honestly have an objection to it.
So you would agree that this letter sent as representative of just a few people who did not notify or petition all of the residents, that's okay, even when asked in a meeting how the information was compiled, that you're okay with just a few residents coming up with some stuff and not being able to make it available to all the residents?
We had a number of residents here at that particular meeting you're referring to. Um, Quite honestly, I didn't agree with what happened up here with our board members. And I was one of a few that had put that letter together.
Yes.
I honestly didn't put the letter together. I did read it and I agreed with it, so I signed it. All right.
But again, my question is, if on the board and as a resident, I ask you straightforward, how was this information compiled? Who signed it and how were they made aware of the decision to
I
do
think
this?
the basis that the letter was written on, if I recall, was based on what transpired during the meeting. That's my understanding.
Well, I'll let,
And to be honest with you, I hope that never happens again because I don't think that that was an appropriate meeting that we had.
no, I don't think the letter was appropriate because the information was compiled by just a few versus the whole entire community. So you can't have, if you're concerned for the whole community versus just a small few, it makes me wonder why I couldn't get an answer on how the information was compiled. Because I did ask and I got
The only
very-
information that I understand that was compiled was what transpired during the meeting. I
You
don't,
mean during the reading of it or the meeting before when the people who compiled it disrupted the meeting and walked out? Which one?
both of them, actually.
Okay,
Both of the meetings were negative meetings. And for people to walk out, that's their right to do that if they wanted to do that. If they didn't agree with it, then
so you are okay with people disrupting and?
no, I'm not okay with it. And please don't put words in my mouth because that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for the people of our community to work together.
Well, in saying that, it would be a good idea to make all the citizens aware of anything that you want transparency, accountability. We need
I
to make
understand that
all
you
the
come to
residents.
all the meetings as well, do you not?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You have every right to compile a letter yourself. It's just the way it is.
Well, I wouldn't compile a letter and call myself a representative of this community if I did not check
Well,
with
they
my
represent,
neighbors.
my understanding is they represented a certain small group of people. Okay. And you obviously were not part of that group. And
No,
I
And I would never
apologize
be
to
part of
you
that group.
personally if that's the case. All right.
yeah, no, I asked about it, how it came about, and I got very disturbing answers, which I won't go into. But the whole thing, you can't say in a letter to the governor that you people who signed the letter are representatives for our community. You are not representative of our community. Neither are the other people because there are other issues at stake. So
There are many
I want to
issues
make
at
sure
stake,
that we
yes.
do have transparency and we do have accountability in anything that affects the community as a whole, especially a letter to the governor, that the entire community would be made aware of that and what the impropriety was.
Just out of curiosity, how would you propose that we make the entire community aware of it?
Well, you have multiple signs that blink off and on different issues, everything. You could make an announcement on your website, anything. We have all this information. And when you go on the website, there was nothing mentioned about any impropriety, anything. And so it was
I think
very
I think
disturbing.
there was no mention of it because it was a dead issue. It was dropped. Once we received the letter from the governor's office, or whoever signed off on that letter, that issue, I think it kind of just laid to
Not the
rest.
fact that it was dropped. It was the fact that people weren't made aware before it was ever sent. That's the question.
Okay.
Thank you.
I understand where you're coming from. Thank you.
Mhm.
John Hunter. In my opinion, the board has a lot of tasks ahead of it. But what I'd like to know is the board not only supports what I consider, day-to-day operations through great communication, but I also see the board being a great visionary for the community. So my question would be, and for the both of you, is what vision do you have for this community? And if you want me to clarify it, I can clarify it. But again, I don't want to talk about roads. I don't want to talk about amenities. What vision do you foresee for Sun and Lake community?
The first vision I see is getting the board back on track, back in tandem with the management that are running the district, right? Right now, the board is not gelling with management. I mean, you see it out there. I mean, the ultimate vision is that we're one community, we prosper, our property values go up, we create amenities that people enjoy, we become self-sufficient, we keep our assessments as low as they possibly can be. And at the end of the day, just want to be kind to each other and have a great community. And part of that, it all starts with the people that sit up at the dais and the people that work for the people that sit on the dais. If there's this dysfunction showing at that level, there is no vision. We can't get to that promised land. We need to fight together as a board and with the management team to work together for that vision. And I think we need to get over that first hurdle first.
I don't see it that way, Steve. I don't see the division that you're alluding to. What I see is an effective manager that's doing a bang up job here. And I see a board that is completely behind our general manager. There are some issues. Everybody has issues, but I think more importantly, that our general manager is doing a great job, and I think the board is supporting them. Now, as far as what I see in a vision for our community, I would like to see our community grow more than what it has. I think that we have the infrastructure here that can handle that, especially with our new water treatment facility that they're planning on building. We can bring in quite a bit more businesses to our community. I'd like to see a multi-use type facility where we have businesses in conjunction with residential housing. You see that in quite a few successful communities. Other than that, I think that there's plenty of room for growth here in our community.
I just want to go back on what Mark said there real quick. We all know how things work in politics with councils and boards, right? Right now, I believe I could become one with a neutral mind, right? When you have 5 people and there's currently 3 that have the same vision and 2 don't, it's a one-way street, right? If you have somebody up there that is neutral and understands what's best for the community as a whole, not just special areas or districts or things, that has an open mind and willing to listen. I think I said in my opening statement, are we always going to agree? No, we're not. But we can agree to disagree.
That's why we have votes, Steve.
Right, correct.
That's why the board votes on it. If it's a 2 to
Correct.
3 vote, then
Right.
so be it. I mean, you have to be able to agree with what is voted on. And if the general manager proposes something and the board doesn't agree with it, he lets it go. He doesn't pursue it any further.
So we can go back and look at voting in the past. And you can see it. It's usually a 3 to 2 vote, same
It
3
usually is, yes.
against the 2 that are always no. There isn't that independent mind that can think outside of the box and take that vision, whether it's your side or the other side, divulge that information and make the appropriate decision, not based on a 3 to 2 vote, but based on the details, what's involved with cost, what's involved with the overall community, not just, what the 3 people or the 2 people.
Mhm.
That's kind of my vision.
Yeah. Well, I don't disagree with you. Any more questions?
Hi, my name is Scott Wyatt. I just want to quickly address the topic that Rhonda brought up, just for the sake of moving forward, because I think I appreciate both candidates' time and effort running for the board, and I appreciate everybody being here and being part of the process. I attended meetings, most of the meetings this year. I was one of the authors of a letter that was sent to the governor and the Board of Ethics with regard to what I felt was impropriety. It was based on facts that occurred at the meetings here, and they're all part of public record. So anybody who wants to go back and watch or listen to the meetings, that's public record. Anybody who wants to read the letter that was sent to the governor, that's public record, can be obtained from the district office. Communication I had in writing from me as a landowner to the board is available to the public to read. And the response that I received from the board to my communication is all public record. So anyone who has any questions about the communications that have gone on can simply read them. But as a landowner, and all of you as landowners, we have the right to offer our opinion, and we don't necessarily always agree with the things that are being done by the board. That's all I have to say. Thank you again for the two candidates.
Thank you, Scott.
That's what makes America great.
We have the opportunity to speak up,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
My name is Paul Carroll, and I live on Matanzas. I wanted to preface something like I've been here 11 years and family 20 years before that. And before I ask my question, the tie-in is I'm a retired CHA, which is Certified Hotel and Resort Administrator, and I spent 47 years running around the country and the world developing, operating, and selling hotels and resorts. When I come into Sun and Lakes and down from New Hampshire, I always see that sign. We are a golf and recreation, community. But when I drive around, I see houses being built and empty lots and so on and so forth. So I'm asking both of you what your vision is, because the one thing I learned in 47 years is you can't be all things to all people. And if we build a lot of houses, the other markets go down, the school systems increase, and so on. So what I'm asking is, what is your vision for the future, and what direction are we going in? Because it's difficult, like I say, to be all things to all people. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. My vision, as I indicated earlier, is I'd like to see our community grow. There's no reason why we can't be a larger community and still have all the amenities that we have for everybody to share. And I think with the vision that we have with the management of our district here is that if we run out of amenities or room for the people here, I'm sure that we can go ahead and afford more amenities to compensate for the number of people that do come in. So basically, that's my vision.
I know everybody talks about growth, residential, commercial. At the last forum last week, there was a resident from Angelo Circle that came in and mentioned that there was 2 properties that have not been constructed in over a year. I heard from another resident today, there's a property on the ABC streets that has not been constructed, or there's trusses outside. So with growth comes management of growth, right? I'm not opposed to a vision of growth in the future, but as far as the vision, we need to maintain the pace that we have. We have a lot of vacant parcels, properties, buildings built. We just need to maintain what we have now, stay on track with our finances, and evolve as that allows.
Just a follow-up, because my concern was that as I see that sign, golf and recreational community, and I see all the building and so on, that could turn us into another housing development. And that's what I don't want to see.
I think some of the illness on what Steve was referring to as far as the houses not being completed. Some of that illness has to be brought back on the county. These builders are getting permits directly from the county, and the county is not enforcing anything. They'd rather just go ahead and have the builder pay a fine, take in the extra income, and let them keep going. I think that we've been proactive here. Our manager here, as I read in the budget report here, that we recouped over $1 million in fines and penalties and district fees from these builders. So I think that we need to have more accountability from the county to go ahead and enforce this.
I just want to add to that. Based on the information that was brought up last week on Angelo Circle, I did a little research myself. 5103 Angelo Circle. Permit is currently open. Code enforcement violations. No records found. 4655 Ponce de Leon Boulevard. Permits. Status expired. Code enforcement violations. No records found. Anyone can file a code enforcement complaint with the county through the code enforcement page on their county website. Rather than passing the buck and saying that the county not doing anything, Sun and Lake staff should be more proactive and inform our residents of how to file a complaint with the county when it is something beyond our code enforcement authority or filing complaints on behalf of our residents. When somebody calls my office and their garbage is not collected and it's a county property that's being collected, my staff are instructed to provide that information to the resident that's calling, phone number, who they need to talk to, and if they have an issue, to call us back. So in just my little brief time of 6 days, I was able just to compile just this. I haven't gone around anywhere else, but based on the information from the other day from Angelo Circle, I was able to find that information myself. No code violations whatsoever. And according to the complaint that was made that day, there's several. So the onus shouldn't just be on the county. We as citizens, as well as our district staff, should be providing the information to our residents as well.
I don't think code enforcement violations has anything to do with what we're talking about. We're talking about a builder taking 3 years to build a house.
Understood.
How is that a code enforcement?
It's all handled through the county, correct?
How many residents here are actually affected by a home that has not been completed for a while? Is there anybody here? Okay. And those that have raised their hands, have you called the county? Has anybody taken the initiative to let the county know that they're upset that it's taking so long? There you go. Mr. Sipple, you want to stand up? How long have you been a resident there?
This house has been, I guess we're going on our 5th year.
5th year.
Somewhere between 4 and 5.
And that house that we're referring to is what, 3 years right now?
About 3 now.
Yep.
Yeah. I had called the county and I was told that their permit, they got extended or something like this. And I pretty much ran into a wall. I couldn't do anything.
Right.
I
And
tried.
they're not doing anything for you on it. They're not
did.
insisting that this builder takes the initiative to get it completed.
Yeah.
Right.
Again, I can't remember exactly what the
that's
conversation
That's
was.
where we're gone awry here, is that we're allowing the county to dictate what's happening here.
I would agree.
Thank you.
Hi, Deb Turner of Myrtle Beach Drive, and I'm going to beat a dead horse for just a second, but I have 2 things that I wanted to talk about. The first one is I did not know about the letter that was going out to Ron DeSantis' office. I didn't sign it. I didn't know anything about it, but as a resident here, I am grateful to the people who had my back as a homeowner and wanted to make sure that anybody that was going to be on our board was going to be there ethically. And I was here at the last meeting, and at least twice you mentioned, quote, you thought you could get things done with your connections in the city and the county. And that is exactly why the letter was written, to make sure that ethically we're not going to have an issue in our neighborhood as a result of that. You got your answer back from Florida State, and I think everybody here is happy with that, and we're good with that. My second thing is, I'm curious for both of you what your opinions are on Advent Health requesting a donation of land or a 99-year for $1 or some type of crazy lease like that, which I know they happen all the time, and I call it crazy, but they're legit. But how do you feel about them building condos / apartments in Sun and Lake? If you don't want this place to seem like a neighborhood, condos and apartments, the addition of those, I don't know if that's what we're looking for. And as far as the racquetball courts and stuff, they're asking Sun and Lake to either donate land or basically very, very long-term lease land. And I'd like your opinions on both.
Deb, my understanding is that the reason they're building these, they want to build these condos or apartments, as you would call it, is because they're going to make Advent Hospital a teaching hospital. And in doing so, they're going to be bringing in quite a few prospective doctors into our area. And with that given, there may be quite a few of these doctors that decide they want to stay here because they're going to given that luxury of staying here. They'll be buying houses then. As far as the land that I'm not exactly sure what the board and what the general manager has decided to do. I don't think that Advent has actually put together a proposal to us yet for my understanding of that. As far as donating the land, honestly, I think it's a wonderful idea. I think that the area that they're talking about is primarily wetlands to begin with. And they would have to bring in quite a bit of fill dirt to bring it up to standard. But yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I guess my first question is going to be, you know, what's the cost associated with providing land? Right? What is the overall impact to the residents of Sun and Lake? You know, are we talking $1 a year lease? Are we talking $50 a year lease? I agree with Mike with the part that, Mark, sorry. You know, they're bringing a school here. They're bringing educated people. They're bringing doctors, nurses, which are dearly needed within this community. I know a lot of people that I know, they go up to Lakeland or Orlando, so I think it's very vital that we be able to provide a service like that for the residents of Sun and Lake as well as Highlands County. That we have those skilled staff, that people don't have to travel to Lakeland, Orlando. As far as the deal goes, I would need to see the specifics of what they're proposing. To sit here and say, would I lease it? I can't without knowing the details.
Okay, thank you.
Question for you, Mark. Question for you, Mark. It's my understanding that you are serving on a committee inside the district where you have been able to do a deep dive into many departments to look at processes, cost, savings. And I wanted to know how that is preparing you to be a supervisor.
Thank you. Yeah, I had the honor of being selected by our general manager, myself, Mr. Hunter, and Mr. Gross. We're three of the residents here in the community that were asked to look at, kind of like the federal government is doing with the DOGE committee. We call it the DOGE committee as well. And basically what we're doing is we're looking into each department to see if there's any inefficiencies or efficiencies that could be expanded upon. I think that being able to look into all the departments that we have as far as our management is concerned gives us a broader perspective on what's happening in our community. And quite honestly, I'm on 3 different committees, 3 different departments that I'm part of the DOGE committee on. And so far I've found wonderful results that the management has done. They're doing a great job.
Didn't realize you were doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Hi there. In response to that question, I'm curious, when I was looking at the ordinances and
What question are you referring to, Brenda?
what she asked you about
Oh,
the
okay.
committees that you're involved in
Mhm.
and everything. When I read today about committees and things like that, that first of all, the committee has to be made aware. I mean, we have to be made aware how the selection process is. I mean, you three people cannot be the only people that could possibly
No,
serve
there's
on
more
this
people
committee.
involved in it. There's actually district employees that are also involved in it. If there's a specific department like human resources, well, then they've tagged like IT department to go ahead and do an audit as well.
But you as landowner residents, not employees.
Correct.
There are other people just like this gentleman back here who seems to
Our
have a
general
lot of-
manager has asked for an independent review from citizens of the area. That's basically how I was selected and how Mr. Hunter and Mr. Gross were selected.
Was it brought before the board to determine who would be
I
selected?
don't think that he had to have that particular basis. Am I correct in
And
that,
if you were
assuming that,
on the
boss?
board, wouldn't you want to be given that information before two or three people were selected?
I don't understand your question.
The residents that were chosen. I mean, I'm sorry. My question continues is that you refer back to the general manager on everything. Our community is board run, not general manager run. He handles, yes, the
Our
day
general
to day.
manager supports the board.
I did not say that. Don't put words in my mouth.
I'm sorry, ma'am, but that is exactly how it transpires.
No, I don't think so. Mr. Kramer, if you were on the board, would you want to be made aware of the committees and who was selected to be on it and why? They would have to have some kind of qualifications.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe our general manager did make in the last board meeting, made the board aware that he had a DOJ committee involved in reviewing our district offices.
Yes,
Mr.
maybe
Bossert
he-
isn't part of this. This is between myself and Mark. Please don't.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. If he said there's a DOJ committee, why would,
Like I said, it was brought up in the board.
again, you're not letting me finish my question. Yes, it was brought up that there's a committee, but it didn't say who was on it, how they were selected, any of that information. There's a lot of people in this community that have a lot of education who are not just retired and all that. And while I'm on the note of our community, we have a lot of young families. Everything seems to be about just the retirement portion and our golf course. Our growth is going to be dependent on those families. The 40 and under, people like Mr. Kramer who have raised their children, they're coming here and everything else to make our community better. We can't grow our community without the next level of generation. So if they are not involved in what goes on and how money is spent and committees, I mean, there are a lot of residents who are educated in finance, this, that, and the other, that could be a part of a community if they were made aware of it. So this committee, if I'm understanding
I don't
you,
disagree with what you're saying. However, I would believe that I know when I was 40 years old or less, my career was a dedication, taking care of my family and my career. I don't know that I would have had time to do a DOJ.
well, you
deep
don't
dive
know
because it
unless
takes
you
quite a
were
bit of time.
asked. There are people who would like to be involved and can handle a full-time job and their family because they live here
Mhm.
and they want what's best for their children.
I agree.
and themselves.
I agree.
So if that's what you did 40 years ago, that's all fine, well and good. But if this next generation is not made aware and their skill set isn't asked for, how are you going to grow the community other than our concerned gentleman back there who we're just going to turn into a housing development? There are a lot, like I said, a lot of educated young adults that have a different perspective and they have a lot of information on how to help. But with our general manager just handpicking who is going to be on whatever committee for whatever reason, it doesn't seem correct. It needs to be
Our next
made
meeting is the
aware.
23rd of January.
I'll be there.
I would hope that you would, and I would
I
hope
will
that you
be.
would bring it up to the board so
I
that
will
it can be
be.
impressed upon our general manager that that's how you feel about it.
Oh, I will. Don't
Okay,
worry.
thank you.
And Mr. Kramer, how would you feel about that? Would you want
Yes, I believe any committee that's selected for any government
deep
entity
dive into
should
finances and
be
our money?
appointed by whatever board is running that municipality.
Yes,
Yeah,
because we
anywhere
need
I've come
more
from.
accountability
Correct.
and transparency. And that's my concern is the board, we need more transparency and accountability for our finances and what's going on. Since the board is not allowed to speak to any of the district employees or anything like that, you know, they need to be made, and either one of you would need to be made aware of it. So I'm just asking for transparency as you're running on and accountability for how this
I don't
came
disagree
about.
with you, ma'am. I don't disagree. All I can tell you is that I was selected by the general manager as well as two other people, and he did discuss it with the board, as far as I know. Other than that, I can't tell you what else.
What he might have looked around for some other people, not just a few. There's not just 300 golf.
I would think,
There's
I would think that we
14,000.
have taken enough of our citizens' time here. And
Oh,
and you
thank you.
primarily have taken quite a bit. Thank you.
Mark, I just wanted to clarify, you did not ask to be on the Doge committee.
No, I did not ask.
You were approached and you were asked to be on it by the general manager who manages all of Sun and Lake.
Correct.
Thank you.
I back to that, and I know the roles that you are vying for
Mhm.
don't have anything to do with who is on this committee that you were asked to put on.
Correct.
But just a statement. It sounds to me like the group that was chosen were handpicked and not, there might be a better way to bring other people in that might be interested and not just handpicked. But another thing here is, as she stated, there's a lot of young families coming in. And how would you, both the question for both of you, try to encourage all landowners to become involved and to be represented, because and to encourage that group of people, the young people, to become more involved and let them know what's going on in the community, and be, again, just to become more involved.
I can tell you this, and I appreciate your thought there, because I think that our entire community needs to be involved in what happens here. However, I have a campaign committee that we went out and we knocked door to door and spoke to a lot of people, and we let them know about this particular meeting tonight. When I look around, I see very few young people here, and they all were aware of this particular meeting. Would have been an ideal opportunity for young people to come here and voice their opinion as well and ask questions. As far as being able to get people involved, it's the same thing. We have a 5:30 board meeting at night. These people could show up They could find out what's going on. We could put together committees. If the board so chose to put together a committee to have people get involved, then by all means. I brought up in the last meeting, there's a lady here, her name is Deborah, and she goes around, she picks up trash. There's no reason why our community can't get involved and do something like that as well. A beautification committee. I understand that we had one at one time, but it's gone by the wayside. So, Steve?
It's a very tough challenge these days in society to get the younger people involved. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not. But you got to do the best that you can to try and mentor with your neighbors. You know, if you get out there, I have a nice young couple that live next door to me. They have no idea how politics work or how boards work, or so you try and mentor these people. You get out to the communities. You know, social media, absolutely. You know, you reach out. I'm not a big social media person, but because of what's going on here, I had to get out.
You seem to be doing a good job on it now.
I'm not. Mark, when this is over, I'm going back incognito. No, I'm just kidding. But that you got to learn how to adapt to the people. You know, when I heard in the presidential election, you know, but the TikTok, you know, you got to be more creative and find ways to reach out to the younger generation to try and get them interested and getting involved in what's going on in their community. Now, as a father, and I'm sure Mark was the same way, as our kids were growing up, we were involved in sports. You know, we had to feed the kids, we had to get home. Was there a lot of time to do that? There was not. But as you get older and you get the availability, you try and mentor these young kids and get them to understand and try and get them involved. It ultimately comes down to what does that individual want to do? Does he want to be involved? Does he want to make a difference? Or is he just happy status quo? So you try and point out the good and the bad. And, you know, I think it's great trying to represent your community and stepping up to do the best thing that you can. And you want to try to get these younger individuals to do it.
Also, too, I was just sitting here thinking about when he said sports and all that. There wouldn't be any reason why we couldn't get together as the retired generation here and start mentoring some of these young kids. We've got plenty of facilities here that we could teach our kids how to play golf or pickleball or tennis. We've got a real nice swimming pool. There's no reason why we couldn't get our kids more involved, get the parents more involved as well. And how I would say to do that is to make people aware. We've got these great digital boards now where we could advertise on these boards. Bring your kids out to a tennis clinic or a golf clinic. Do something like that. So.
All right. So I'm Dave. I represent that under 40. I'm 37. I have 4 kids ranging from a year and a half to 12. So to answer y'all's question, the biggest thing for a working class blue collar individual, it's going to be timing. I'm up here today because I luckily was able to get back into town for my job. But in all reality, you're questioning how you get this information out there. How do you get people involved? I work. I'm leaving the neighborhood at 4:45 every morning. I pull back in 5:30, 6 o'clock. 5 days a week I'm going. There's no way I'm making it to an ice cream social by 4:30 with my kids. There's no way a lot of the stuff caters to a certain demographic and I'm not part of it. I've still got a full head of hair and it's full of color. So I don't fit into that. No offense to y'all, but I mean, that's it. We're working class. So we're not at home. But you know, I play golf. My son plays golf. I have a kid that plays ball. I ride the bike trails in the back with all my kids. I mean, we partake in a lot of the stuff, but the biggest thing is communication and getting it out there. So I say that because my parents live out here. They're up off Myrtle Beach. My brother-in-law and my sister live in the back where I'm at. And it seems like back there, we're just there. We're tax-paying citizens. We cater to the cause, but we don't get much representation, which is fine. I like it that way. But at the end of the day, I mean, I also have family that lives over in Palm Bay. He owns 4 lots in the back as well, 4 individual lots on different streets. First he was made aware of this was last week. So there's not much communication. And I understand digital signboards are great, but I really don't care to know when ladies' night is. I'd really like to know, you know, really important things. The yard sale, great. Let me know about that. But I'm not going up there for ladies' night on Thursday. I'm not going trivia night maybe, but not ladies' night. I mean, I like to dance, but I'm just not getting into that. But
Sir,
what are
excuse me.
y'all doing?
How would you like to see us communicate more with yourself?
Make it available. Make everything available. We read the minutes. That's what we do most of the time. But
Okay.
what are your plans to get out there? Because it also seems like anytime there's any interaction with the district, and I don't want to put people out there, it seems like if you are a younger or you don't live in a certain part of the neighborhood or you're not in an HOA neighborhood, you're not taken serious. I've been questioned about various things when I've brought things to attention, whether it be a safety concern or potential damage to a building. And I'm not taken serious. But the other thing with that is make it available, make it more pronounced. We have an app. We get updates on when water yoga is canceled, but we didn't have no inclination about this. I could have made time to be here at the previous meetings had I known in advance. We put the word out there. I've had a couple people ask about swells. Said, hey, download the app. Works great.
Do you have access to a computer?
I do. I have access to a
We
computer.
we have a great website here that they make all of our activities known on the website. They advertise all of that.
I understand. And sarcasms. I mean, we're opening that door. When we open that can of worms, I can be a jerkwad too. You're asking for help, and I'm asking you a question to figure out how we can bridge that gap, because there is a clear sign of division amongst the board members. There is a clear sign of division amongst citizens, and being a smart behind ain't gonna get that problem fixed. It's not. And it was brought up earlier, and give me a second, guys. It was brought up earlier. You just deny it, you pass the buck, you put it on to everyone else. So what are you doing to get rid of that? Get rid of that mindset. Quit acting like you're holier than thou and make some changes, because that's what we want to see. I mean, face it, some of us have a little less time on this earth than the rest of us. So let's make decisions that do help that next generation, help us enjoy our life. Give me a reason to stay in the district, not try to get out of town every weekend, because that's what I'm doing. Go Fins.
It's me. I just wanted to say something because my heart is here. And my heart is here because when I was brought here with my husband 15 years ago, I felt like I was the baby. I felt like him. Don't put me in a retirement community. And you guys have proven to me that we have grown with children in here. I pass this every day, and I am so proud to see a basketball court that had 32 people in there playing wonderfully. I understand that there was some traffic that went on. That's going to happen. I'm sorry it happened. I also see the security sweeping everybody out at the right time to try to protect everything. We've now moved things, shifted things so that we can improve all this stuff for everybody around here. There are probably 50 people I see walking everywhere and anywhere around here. Bikes are everywhere. I think we have done a very good job of making this a family wanted place, because like any place else, you feel safe in this because there's not the traffic of any outside entities. So I believe in our going forward, and I guess I'm not really asking a question from either of you. I'm just letting you know that I think that in the momentum going forward, it's been started. There's lots more things. The little disc golf, my son was just amazed that you got disc golf there now. Yeah, along with 18 now pickleball courts. Hey, we can have tournaments. Tournaments will bring people. People love pickleball. They'll come and they'll stay here. I know that for a fact because we have neighbors that have just joined, people that have come into here because we have moved forward. And I like the fact that we still think that there's more, whether it be through the banquet facilities or anything else that is related to activities that keep people not being a retirement community. That's all.
Thank you, Michelle.
Brian Gross, just wanted to address the issue about community involvement. And I know that frequently there are postings on social media where the district is asking for volunteers to get involved in things. So there is that opportunity. Maybe not everybody has social media, but there is that opportunity to get involved in as much as you want to. I think Mark was actually trying to be helpful rather than be rude, honestly. So you may have, I don't believe you. So anyways, there is that opportunity. You need to reach out, take it on yourself if you really want to get involved in things, because there's a lot of opportunity. Jamal kind of heads that up, but there's frequently a request for volunteers. They've had volunteer meetings, for events. So it's out there.
Thank you. And for the gentleman in the back there, I meant no ill will, or I wasn't trying to be sarcastic. I apologize if you thought I did. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Barb Carmon. I'm Mark's wife. I guess most of you know that by now. And I had a suggestion. We don't know who all's here, ages and all that kind of stuff. There's older people in the back, younger people in the front. I know we walked Myrtle Beach. So I was thinking that maybe we'd like to hear from you and send out a survey and tell us what your concerns are, how you could get involved. I know all these meetings are on the district website, and maybe not everybody sees it, but if you feel underrepresented, maybe having a survey go out, seriously, go out, tell us what's bugging you, what you'd like, what you don't like, how you can get involved. But I don't think the onus should be on the board solely. It should be on all of us. So we get these ideas, the board gets the ideas, you work on them, and maybe together, collaboratively, you come up with solutions. And that's how I feel about it. And I don't think whoever's running, I'm not going to talk you down or anything like that. I'm not going to do that because I know you're both here, you're genuine. So let's just work on that, how we can all work together, get together and make it a better community. It's not going to be perfect. It's not perfect. It's never perfect. But if we work together, we can make it a much better community.
Thank you, dear.
Very well put.
One second.
My question is for both the candidates. I want to know what your vision is as the community grows for community safety. That's a big issue with me.
I hate to keep referring back to the county. Today I saw some sheriffs driving through the neighborhoods, which I thought was a great thing. That's what we need. We need more police presence here to promote our public safety. There are other things that we could do too. We could, for the kids walking to school, there's areas that there's no sidewalks. For the adults that do a lot of walking, they walk in the streets. They have to be careful that they don't get hit by a car if the car is not paying attention. So I think that we need to have more police presence. We need to have our board stand behind our management to approve sidewalks, curbing, things like that, that would promote safety for that. And those are just a few things for safety. I'm not exactly sure what other things you're referring to as far as public safety is concerned.
That's a great question. I did reach out to the Highlands County Sheriff's Office. I did get a response for the questions that I did ask. One of the questions that I asked, what district, what area do we fall into? Who's assigned to our area? So I have a list of all the captains, lieutenants, et cetera, et cetera. They provided the statistics for what's going on. and also a breakdown of what it cost should the residents of Sun and Lake decide that they would want to go with the county police force. I have the numbers for Avon Park, but that's a whole different entity. He didn't give me exact numbers, but he gave me what Avon Park pays based on 12 officers, capital budget. So that would be a question. They're willing to come here with a conversation. That conversation should be had with the residents of Sun and Lake. Do they feel it's justified to spend 2.1 million, 2.5 million? You know, if there's capital involved with that, you have to purchase police cars. So as far as reaching out to the county, I have had no issues. He answered my email within 2 hours, gave me those answers. I'd be more than willing to share them with anybody that wants to see them. A list of the captains and lieutenants and the patrol and where they patrol. So
I think that's a great thing that you did, Steve, but I'm just wondering, what are we paying real estate taxes for to the county? What services are we getting for that? I mean, we're a self-sufficient community here.
But the question was
public
raised,
safety.
how public safety. So how do you address that concern? Do you hire your own police force? Do you hire hire outside?
We're paying taxes to have police presence, as far as I'm concerned.
And there are people assigned here.
Okay. I've only seen a few of them, but.
So it's my understanding though that that wasn't feasible. So there are lots of initiatives that we can initiate, especially with the growth in the community, where we do the infrastructure and we build it so that it's a safer community without bringing in, because I think my understanding of it was we're an independent community here. So we would have to pay for outside, and the police force now that comes in, they don't have the jurisdiction, it's my understanding, to do anything really to enforce any kind of a safety initiative.
So one of my questions to the sheriff's office was, how often are regular patrols conducted within Northern District Zone 5, which we are in? And what do these patrols entail? The deputies, this is from the sheriff's office, the deputies assigned to a zone, in your case, Alpha 5, should stay in the assigned zone patrolling during their entire shift. There are times, however, when they would need to assist other deputies, or they have made an arrest or need to transport the arrested subject to the detention facility. Patrolling entails answering calls for service, traffic enforcement, directing patrols, and other law enforcement duties. Now, the service statistics for North District Zone 5 for 2025, the zone you're referring to as North District Zone 5, we commonly refer to as Alpha 5, calls for service 6,085. Traffic stops 613. Citations 130. Arrest 21. So these are decisions that the community have to make based on the facts that we're given. These are the facts that were presented to me by the Highlands County Sheriff's Office.
We do have a great public safety department here as well.
Sun and Lake. Sun and Lake. There is commanders and lieutenants and sergeants for North District, Alpha Squad. There's a lieutenant, sergeant, Bravo Squad, lieutenant, sergeant, Charlie Squad, lieutenant, sergeant.
Are these all patrol people? Do they actually come out and patrol the area?
No, we have 3 sergeants. As he stated in here, they do patrol.
All those people do?
Yeah, I'd be happy to share this with you.
No, I'm just asking.
We're not doubting what you're saying. We're just
Yeah.
doubting where they are.
Right. I mean, you're correct. And since this email went out the other day, there's 2 that have showed up on. Yeah, correct.
Yes, ma'am.
I live in the first phase on Ponce de Leon. I know of 5 police officers that own homes in Sun and Lakes. So there you go. If you want to know where they live.
No, we want to know where they go to work.
I had a
As I,
question.
excuse me, Rhonda, one other thing. As I alluded to earlier, we got a great public safety department here as well. They do patrol the area quite a bit. And if they see anything that is wrong or mischievous, I'm sure that they're going to go ahead and call the sheriff's department and let them know what's going on as well.
So that
go
was
ahead.
basically my question. We have here in Sun and Lakes, our own code enforcement. I know because they accused me of piling a bunch of stuff in front of my house, which I didn't do. But code enforcement showed up and were very rude, and Sun and Lakes employees, which I didn't really appreciate. Also, as stated, our own Sun and Lake security. So what are they allowed to do? I mean, they should be allowed to do something. I mean, at least are they, as security, are they doing 24 hours or just 8 to 5?
No,
or-
they have a 24-hour window
And
that
how
they work.
many officers do we have?
I'm not sure about that. I'd have to find out.
Okay, because we should be able to work effectively with our own in-house staff that we are already paying for before we have to call in the sheriff, this, that, and the other.
Right.
Yep. No, I got to give them credit. I had a situation that I needed somebody to go check on my house, and they were there within 5 minutes. So another issue down the street with dumpsters in a building lot, they responded expeditiously. So as far as our current staff, I have nothing but good things to say about them.
One more question,
concur.
please.
I concur. Now, I've lived here over 10 years, so
Mhm.
I've been to the meetings back a few years ago and gave up coming. We need transparency. As a homeowner, I no longer even think of these meetings because it feel like I'm not being heard. Come to safety, I did watch a video on the management speaking about sidewalks and lights going in. I'm guessing that's all the new areas, not Ponce de Leon or any of the old phase, when you first come in, first circle phase. So I would like to see sidewalks. I come from the city, so not having sidewalks is kind of a shock to me in the
My
south,
understanding
but-
is there's going to be quite a bit of sidewalk that's going to be, that was presented in the budget. And they're going to be building sidewalks throughout the community.
And you know about Ponce de Leon and the flooding that goes on there this has been going on for 11, 12
I
years
agree.
or longer.
My wife and I walk and we just.
And the holes in the street with the big trucks
Right.
going by and not even a cone after you fix it, not even a cone there to let it set. You managed to fix the main drag.
I can appreciate everything you're saying, ma'am, and not to put you off, but I
But
think that these are all
board
things that
member things, aren't they?
that's right, should be brought up to the board. Yes, ma'am. Folks, we've been waiting here quite a bit. There are quite a few people are leaving. If there are no more questions, we'd like to adjourn. All right. Okay, Mr. Buzzard.
All right, thank you much. We will summarize the meeting. We'll get notes out to board and the elected or the candidates. And next Friday, 9 o'clock, definitely all your questions or comments or concerns, please, I will address them individually during my manager's update. Everyone that was mentioned. So either hit it at the public comment section or wait for the general manager's report, which will be later in the meeting. And I will address everything from lights and everything because a lot of stuff going on, and I know it's hard to get that message out. Thank you for y'all's time. Appreciate you coming. Be safe getting out there. Thank you, candidates, very much.
Thank you.